Hey guys, I hope you're keeping well today. Welcome to Friendship Shaving for a straight razor shave with my vintage Kropp razor. This is, it says so on the packet, a 5/8 of an inch black round point razor. The box is in beautiful condition and the razor itself is in stunning condition. Very pleased to have got this, bought it for £30 from an online antique shop. And here it is guys, and really all I have done to it is put on a little bit of polish. I'm just brought it up by hand. It's absolutely beautiful. Made and ground in Sheffield, England. So I'll be shaving with that lovely razor today. Well, I just drained some water from the sink. I'll be shaving with a soap that isn't made anymore. I found this soap languishing in the back of my cupboard, and it is Pall Mall from Phoenix and Bow. Now I like this soap. It is a neroli, petitgrain and lemon scented soap. So lots of citrus with a little bit of florality. It's very nice indeed. Terrific artwork on that. Absolutely lovely. So to go to match the orange on the lid, I've got my Razor Rock 400 orange brush today, and we'll move some items out of the way here. You can see I've made a lather already, and I've used my Byron Shaving Company churn bowl today just to whip up a little bit of lather quite quickly. So I should just reapply some water to my face and we can get on with this lovely shave. I honed this razor yesterday. Some days I shouldn't be allowed near a straight razor. Now that wasn't yesterday, that was a few days ago. Managed to cut my hand twice honing a razor, but I had no issues with this one yesterday. The razor itself, well, I'm uncertain who made it, but it was made for a wholesaler called Osborne, Garrett and Company Limited, and they were formed in 1899. Went on to the 1960s, and they provided items to stores and barbers and hairdressers. They had their own trademarks, Kropp being one of them. Some of the other razor trademarks that you might see are Klein, Carrera, Oscar from Osborne and Garrett, and similarly OG from Osborne and Garrett, Elmo and Burr, B-I-R-R. So if you find a vintage razor with those names on, they were made for and distributed by this wholesaler who had warehouses in London and Birmingham and other places besides. Now I'm just going to add a tiny drop of water to this just to smooth it out a bit. And I think I'm ready to go for a shave. looking forward to this one, guys. It's always a bit of a test after I've honed a razor. A bit of a test to see what it actually shaves like. So today, this shave is the test, I should say. Get that the right way around. I couldn't believe the condition I got this in. I was very pleased. And I have a Geo Wostenholm razor that is in the same type of condition. So super pleased with that. The only bit I don't like that is hard to get clean are the jimps underneath, the corrugation on the steel. That tends to get really dirty, and I find it difficult to clean that area, especially if there is some rust or anything like that in, which on this one thankfully there isn't. That feels very nice, guys. Very nice. I have very sparse hair on my forearms. But I did have the razor sharp enough that it was just popping the hairs off as I tried to cut the hairs about halfway up. So very fine, very sparse hair. So I knew it was sharp enough to shave with. Just going to put my specs back on, guys. But yeah, I'd be interested to find out who actually made these razors for Osborne and Garrett. Made in Sheffield. This is a later razor. In the 1900s, in the early 1900s, the advertisements, and presumably it would say on the razor, ground in Germany. And then pre-World War One, that changed, and I've seen advertisements for this. Made in Sheffield, ground in Hamburg. And then the later razors were made and ground in Sheffield, as this one is. It has the same handle as my Geo Wostenholm, which I've been discussing with David, a friend of the channel, who sort of guesstimated that it would be about 1920 onwards with this type of handle. So, you know, we're looking at a razor that is probably, or could be, 100 years old. And these Kropps are well known for being able to take and hold a very nice edge. They've got a good name. So we'll see how we go with this one over the years. Very nice scent on this soap, guys. I did like this one, but had a little conversation with Curry some years ago at Phoenix and Bow, and he said the sales weren't there for this soap, so they discontinued it in the end. There we go. Now I'll just tell you a little bit more about Osborne and Garrett. They were described in 1915 as being human hair merchants. That's interesting, isn't it? Presumably for wigs and things like that. And they described themselves as hairdressers, sundriesmen. So if you had a little business, a little shop, and you were looking to stock your Acme portable hairdryer, Osborne and Garrett was where you would go. And that actually, I've seen that on one of their advertisements. That is actually a thing, an Acme portable hairdryer. They had their own OG vibrator, and as well as things like Hopgood's hair cream. With the Kropp brand or trademark. They also made shaving soap and strops. So you could have a Kropp strop to go with your razor. I think this stuff is fascinating. You know, when you look back and research, you know, all because you picked up a razor that looks very nice online. I think it's a wonderful thing. It keeps me occupied, guys. So let's see, add a drop of water to this blade. I've definitely got a very sharp edge. I'd like to get a bit more of a buttery feel to the edge. So I think the next time I hone a razor, I'll try going on my cuticule. And I'll see if I can finish on that, and then come and have a shave and see what that feels like before I go any further. But certainly this is shaving very well. I've come to like the round points, guys. I spent years looking at the square points, thinking, oh, I'd like one of those razors, because they look so good. But now that I've got a couple, I found that square point can be a bit lethal. I suppose it's all what you're used to. I've been looking to buy, guys, some vintage flax linen material for a strop. Now in America they sell that vintage material as fire hose. You can get vintage fire hose made from flax linen, 100% flax linen. It's supposed to be really, really good for stropping your razor. In the UK, we don't seem to have such a thing. Whether there just isn't any anymore, or whether it was called something else, I'm not sure. The nearest I've found is by looking for flax linen webbing. Which is quite thin. It's not like fire hose material. So I'm quite keen to try it out. So I may have to go. I found a seller that's based in the US that sells vintage fire hose material by the yard, very reasonably, but of course the postage is £25. So maybe if I get a few of them, it'll make it more worthwhile, but I'd like to try that out as it has such a good name. I've got my vintage boots strop, and on the reverse side of the leather is a cotton material. Now that's very nice. I like that. I absolutely hate anything that's like cotton nylon or something like that. Yeah, my vintage boots, the Cash Chemist strop. It's only a little strop, but nevertheless quite good. Just give that a little wipe. I went to strop the other day, guys. Had the razor in my hand like this. I hung my strop on the door, but the door wasn't latched. And as I pulled the strop, the door flicked open rather quickly. So, afraid that the razor was going to go like that, I gripped it tightly all of a sudden, and I put my thumb right down on the heel of that blade, and yeah, that smarted a little bit. So the dangers of having a straight razor might not necessarily include when you shave with them. That's a nice enough shave for me. I've not quite got it right up there, but other than that, that's a very nice shave. A damn fine shave. I'm BBS everywhere else apart from there. I'm not bothering about that today. Now I'm going to put some aftershave on today, but just to tell you that I've something to show you after I've done that. So hang around, guys. Oh, I'm just going to stick with some Proraso green today. Very nice scented, really lovely. Oh yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. Now guys, I got, as some of you know, a polishing machine. It was sent to me by Andy Clark. Sorry, I've swallowed some of my aftershave. It's not very tasty. Andy sent me this polishing machine, and I've been having a little go. So the razor I'm going to shave with next week is this one here, which I've taken to the polishing machine, and I wished I'd done a before and after photo. It's a vintage fat-handled Gillette Tech. Just a couple of little marks in the head cap there, but it is, you know, it is an old razor, a vintage razor, but I think you can see it's reflecting light all over. It's come up beautifully. So that is next week's shave, guys, the fat handle tech. And Andy, thank you very much, my friend. I'm really enjoying having a play with a proper polisher, and gosh, that was great. I wasn't expecting it to come up like that. The metal looked a bit yellowed. I thought that was just the brass underneath the nickel plating, but I guess it was some sort of oxidation on the nickel plating, because it's come up beautifully. So there we are. That's my shave, guys. So thanks very much for joining me. Next week will be the fat handle tech. I'll see you then. Take good care, guys. Look after each other. Bye bye now.